Hello and welcome to Meet Pokemon X. My name is Spade and this is a new show where I talk about a specific Pokemon and their potential in the competitive Pokemon X and Y scene. And I did something similar to this a while ago with my competitive Pro series, but I'm trying out a different format, so we'll see how this goes. And the topic and the Pokemon of the day is Mega Latios. And before we get started, I have to say that all the information surrounding Mega Latios isn't 100% confirmed, because at this time as I'm recording and uploading this, Mega Latios isn't officially released, so there's a chance still that few things may change. When it's released, you know, there might be some specific event coming up with a special move that it doesn't normally have access to or something like that. So there's a chance for error still, but I'm doing this kind of like a review analysis on Mega Latios based on the information that has basically been leaked and hacked at this time. So just saying, there is room for error, there's time for change, so there's that. But talking about Mega Latios with the information that we have access to at this time, let's go through it and let's get started. So compared to the regular Latios, they are both still Psychic and Dragon type, or Dragon Psychic, whatever. So Mega Latios does retain its original typing, has the ability Levitate, you know, it's a freaking jet plane, so it's still flying around with that. And compared to the original one, the most significant difference is the plus 40 attack buff. So Mega Latios can actually abuse and certainly use its physical attack stats, something that the original Latios really can't do. Or it can, but it's just never so effective. But definitely with the attack stat of 130, it can do some significant damage as opposed to the really mediocre 90 that it had in the past. And then it also has plus 20 to its defense, plus 30 to its special attack, and plus 10 to its special defense. So a plus 100 in its stats, just like with all the other Mega Evolutions, pretty much. I think there might be a few exceptions, I am not entirely certain. But anyways, plus 100 to its stats. Biggest difference is definitely the attack buff that it received. And I guess something to take note of is that if we talk about a standard special attacking Latios, the regular Latios with the item Life Orb or Choice Specs still hits harder than the Mega Latios, because it's forced to be running obviously the Latiosite item to perform the Mega Evolution. So the regular Latios still hits harder on the special side if you're running like Life Orb or Choice Specs, which are common items on Latios, so it's still able to hit harder on the special side. But like I said, the big difference is the physical attack. So Mega Latios is actually able to go fully physical, or even perform a mixed attacking role, slightly better, significantly better even, than the original Latios can. So if we start building like some sort of set here for Mega Latios, I think something that you're going to be seeing a lot once Mega Latios is released is a Dragon Dancing set, because, you know, obviously when everyone is looking at Mega Latios, they see the big difference to its physical attack, so they want to take advantage of that. So they start building a physically oriented Dragon Dancing set, because Latios does indeed have access to Dragon Dance, which is fantastic. It's just not seen too often, because, you know, Latios doesn't have that great of an attack stat like we just went through. So you may want to give it something like Outrage, and then Earthquake. You know, you have the solid Dragon Ground coverage, and perhaps you want to give it Draco Meteor, because you still have that 160 special attack backing you up. And let's see what kind of spread is showdown, giving it lonely nature. Don't want to go with that. I think I would actually go with something like naive, which is minus special defense, simply because when you're dragon dancing up, you're really fast, but one of the things that can still outspeed you are things with a priority, so we don't necessarily want to lower our physical defense, so naive would be ideal for that. Although if you are not worried about physical priority, which is really common, but if you're not worried about it, you may want to go with lonely nature to still keep your high special defense up. But I would go with naive, which indeed raises your speed and lowers your special defense. So when we're running a mixed set, it works out great with this nature because it doesn't lower your special attack, and you can still take advantage of it, hit relatively hard, and then of course we're going to be going with the max EVs on the physical attack and on the speed. So after one Dragon Dance, Mega Latios is going to be outspeeding a lot of things and hitting hard. And of course over Outrage you could be still running something like Dragon Claw if you don't like the fact that you get locked into Outrage, but Outrage is still significantly more powerful than Dragon Claw. That's why oftentimes people tend to run that move instead. And of course there's a possibility that you could go completely physical if you don't want to go mixed. You know, mixed attacking Pokemon are always dangerous, but if you don't want to be running a mixed attacking set and you want one extra physical move, you may want to go with something like Zen Headbutt, which would be another stab move. Latios does receive 1.5 times boost from it because it's partially psychic type, and in case you do that, you may want to go with like let's say Jolly Nature, of course. That would be ideal, and not to lower your special defense, and because you're not using any special attacks, you don't need to worry about your special attack stats, so that is also a possibility. And then you could throw the extra 4 EVs in your defense, for example, so you could be able to take that one extra bullet punch or some sort of priority move better than you normally would. But never waste your EVs. That's how you roll generally in Pokemon. But these are definitely some potential sets that you could go with. And let's actually look at Bulbapedia real quick, because here they have the type effectiveness chart, and since Mega Latios is, you know, it has the same typing as Latios, I can just compare it to the original one. So defensively speaking, you have the ever so useful immunity to ground. You know, Earthquake is a really common ground type move that a lot of Pokemon, including Mega Latios, could be spamming. So you have that useful immunity to Earthquake and ground type moves in general, and then you have some key resistances to fighting, fire, water, and electric, which are really common offensive typings seen in the OU metagame, or in whatever kind of metagame that you might be playing. Then you also have resistance to grass and psychic, which are not that common offensively speaking, especially grass, but you still have the useful immunities. So 6, or I was saying immunities, I meant resistances. So you still have 6 resistances and the ground immunity, which is great. So when you're pulling off a Dragon Dancing set, you can take advantage of the fact that you can set up on the common fighting, fire, water, and electric types, because you have the resistances and the immunity to ground. So with the fact that you have one immunity, 6 resistances, you're gonna be having multiple opportunities to set up that Dragon Dance, especially if you're talking and playing in the singles 6-on-6 kind of meta game. So it's easy enough to find an opportunity to set up a Dragon Dance and then potentially go for a sweep. Of course, you need to worry about these 6 crippling weaknesses, especially Bug, Ghost, Ice, and Dragon. Really common offensive types, and you know, Dark and Fairy. You know, Fairy type is the new type, which offensively isn't seen too much, simply because there aren't too many fairy types attacks to begin with. But still something to watch out for, and then you take neutral damage from these 5 types, which aren't too bad. But especially with these resistances, you should be finding some really good opportunities to set up some Dragon Dances, and yeah, I'm definitely certain that once Mega Latios gets released, people are gonna be running the physically orientated Mega Latios just to take advantage of the new physical attack buff that the Mega Latios has received, or will receive, I guess, technically speaking. But I guess other sets that you could be running, let's just make another Mega Latios here. You could be running a traditional, specially orientated set with this thing. Have like, let's say, Draco Meteor there, Psyshock, so you can go like pseudo mixed still, attacking on the physical side, and then have like Hidden Power Fire, I think would be good for coverage, you know, taking on those steel types, especially Ferrothorn. And then you could have, I guess, Surf would be an option, and then on the EVs, standard special attack sweeping sets, you got Timid Nature to max out your speed, and then you max out your special attack, and you probably don't want to throw the rest on HP, because I think it's ideal to have an odd number in HP. In a metagame where Stealth Rock is a thing, and now I'm referring to 6-on-6 singles, especially in the Smogo metagame, Stealth Rock is still a common thing, so the ideal situation is to have an odd number of HP, so that you don't take so much Stealth Rock damage in the long run. A little bit nitpicking, but in the long run it may still end up making a difference. So this would be kind of a standard special attacking 4-attack set, and you could actually just put something like Calm Mind on here, and then potentially replace the Draco Meteor with something like Dragon Pulse. I think that would be definitely a good option. So you could be running a special attacking set like this, definitely. But still, you know, regular Latios with Life Orb still hits harder, but when you are running Mega Latios, you don't need to worry about that Life Orb recoil, and you do have some extra bulk to your name, so I think that's something that could, in some instances, still make a difference if you're running a Calm Minding Latios as opposed to Calm Minding Mega Latios. And I had some damage calculations right here, yes. Because one significant thing that Mega Latios changes compared to the regular one is that in the past, the biggest nemesis that Latios has had is Tyranitar. And when you're running a Naive Nature set, max attack, you're actually able to 2-hit KO Tyranitar with Earthquake, or you have a 71.9% chance after leftovers against a Tyranitar with max hit points. T-Tar rarely runs physically defensive sets. You know, it could be a thing in the future, but at least at this time, it isn't a thing. So you are able to, and I didn't even take into account Stealth Rocks. So it's actually a guaranteed 2-hit KO after leftovers, after Stealth Rocks. That's definitely something significant that I forgot from this calculation. So you have a guaranteed 2-hit KO with Earthquake against Tyranitar after the leftovers. So that is pretty awesome. Let's actually look at the Mega Tyranitar, but I'm still saying that Tyranitar is more common than Mega Tyranitar, at least at this time. So, and in the past, the biggest problem, like I said, the biggest arch nemesis, the biggest counter to Mega Latios has been Tyranitar, and now it doesn't really need to worry about it. And I guess specially defensive Jirachi too, but we all know that especially defensive Jirachi is not really that relevant in the generation 6 metagame because of the steel nerf, so you don't really even need to worry about it. And even if you're up against a specially defensive Rachi, you can now 2-hit KO it with the Earthquake. Let's actually... Can I see a Mega Tyranitar usage, which would be the most common set? I don't know if this is really a thing, but let's see how much Earthquake would do. Well, it doesn't quite 2-hit KO, but let's see if we would have a +1 Dragon Dance. Then it could be a 2-hit KO. But still, the main thing that you do need to worry about is the regular Tyranitar. Mega Tyranitar is occasionally a thing, but the main point here is that Latios, or Mega Latios, now actually has a way around Tyranitar, something that it didn't have in the past, because, you know, regular Latios had such pathetic attack, and now you actually have a chance to 2-hit KO a regular Tyranitar, which is definitely something significant, because now the only thing that could be considered a true counter to Latios is gone. So Mega Latios, once it's released, it's gonna be a really dangerous Pokemon. And especially if we talk about something like OU Metagame by Smogon, that's how I often play. I don't know how significant Mega Latios is gonna be in the VGC metagame, because, you know, something like Dragon Dancing, or, you know, in general setting up in VGCs, it's always a lot more riskier when you're up against 2 Pokemon. But now if we again talk about singles metagame, where Tyranitar in the past has had really no problems switching into Latios, now it actually needs to worry about Mega Latios, which has higher attack and is able to retaliate with that powerful Earthquake. And yeah, like you saw, it was a guaranteed 2-hit KO after the Stealth Rock damage, so that is definitely dangerous. And I actually had the +1 attack here, so it would do 88 after +1. But as Tyranitar really likes to switch into Latios, you can just go for the Earthquake on the switch, and it will be a guaranteed 2-hit KO on the most common Tyranitars that tend to run max HP. So that alone makes Mega Latios a really dangerous Pokemon. And now, as it's able to go mixed, or it's able to go physical or special, this is going to make Mega Latios a really dangerous Pokemon, because kind of like with Mega Lucario, what made it so dangerous back when it was around in Smogon's OU metagame was the fact that it was able to go physical or special, and you just never really knew which one is it going to be. And the main problem was that you switch in a physical wall and it turns out to be a special attacking set, and then you switch out a special wall and then it turns out to be a physical attacking set. And under those circumstances, you're always just kind of screwed. And it might be kind of the same kind of deal with Mega Latios, because you cannot just switch in a... In the past, you could, you know, still switch in your special walls to some degree. You know, there was always the Psyshock option that Mega Latios had, but, you know, in general, the special walls, you know, could then have also at least decent physical defense, could safely switch into Latios, you know. But now it isn't the case, you know. The best example would be Tyranitar has massive special defense, especially in the sand, because it's a rock type. But now it needs to deal with physical attacking sets, and now it just simply cannot do that. Especially in T-Tar's case, it was immune to Psyshock, so it had really nothing to worry about, as something like Spec Surf still did like diddly in the sand. But now it needs to worry about Latios possibly being the physically orientated set and being the Mega Evolution, and you may just end up getting 2-hit KO'd on the switch, which is something that makes Mega Latios a really dangerous Pokemon once it will get released. I guess some people are already using these things on Wi-Fi and battle spots or whatnot. Not sure what's the deal over there. Are people running like Dragon Dancing set or what? But once the Mega Latios gets officially released, I'd be definitely watching out for the physically orientated sets and the mixed ones with like Draco Meteor. That could be really dangerous, because you can drop that powerful Draco Meteor and then you can still go for like Dragon Dance and then strike from the physical side. So I'd say the Draco Meteor set and Naive Nature is going to be a really dangerous set that you're going to be seeing around a lot once the Mega Latios just gets released. So with that, I think I will conclude this episode. Hopefully it was slightly shorter than those competitive crunch episodes that I did in the past. They tend to be so long. So with this, I'm trying out a different format, looking at the entry from the Pokédex or the page of Pokemon Showdown, because in the past I did those couple competitive crunch episodes in similar manner than with this new format that I'm trying out, and in those CC episodes I was using custom graphics that I made myself, and it just took so freaking long. So I never really got around to making more episodes yet. I would like to do these analysis kind of things about Pokemon, because they were really fun to do, but it just took so freaking long, because making one episode usually took me like 2 days, and I simply didn't have the time to do those anymore, so I just kind of stopped. And besides that, I just had so many other episodes and topics to talk about in competitive crunch series, so I never really got around to do more of these Pokemon analysis things. And I'm hoping now with this format, even though it's not as cool with those custom graphics, I'm still hoping with this format I'm able to pump out these episodes, faster, and just, give out my opinions and my thoughts on the new X and Y Pokemon, even though, X and Y have been out for now, so, this kind of format may have lost some momentum, but I'm still hoping there are people who are interested in hearing my thoughts on the new X and Y Pokemon, Mega Evolutions, and all those things that we have now access to in X and Y. And I would kind of just like to keep the competitive crunch series for general topics, and with this series I could go into more in depth about the specific Pokemon, and then in the CC, like I said, talk about more general topics, what's going on around the metagame, Smogon tiers, stuff like that, and then dedicate this to more specific things and specific Pokemon movesets, EVs, their abilities, what has changed, when it comes to Mega Pokemon, how will they be used mostly in the singles metagame, because as you know, I'm mainly a Smogon player, so the Smogon metagame is what I mainly care about, and just in general, even though I'm a Smogon player, I can give an in-depth analysis, at least I think, on the singles 6 vs 6 metagame, which is still what a lot of people tend to play. So hopefully it didn't ramble out for too long, and I hope you guys still enjoyed this kind of format. I know it's not as awesome as those past episodes with the competitive crunch and custom graphics, but like I said, hopefully I will be able to pump out more episodes. But at this point I'm just repeating myself, going in circles like I tend to do, but important stuff that I still wanted to talk about. So hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and leave me some feedback. Tell me what you think, and I will check you guys next time with some other type of Pokemon. Gonna be going through all the released Pokemon, hopefully, and the new stuff that is coming out. Mega Latios and Diancie. We have some significant information about those two also, so might be doing those. Some old ones, like I said, and yeah, I could be even looking into some past generation Pokemon that got significantly buffed up in this generation, but I think I will now focus on the Generation 6 Pokemon. We'll see how it goes, but leave your feedback in the comment section below, and I will check you guys next time. This is Spade, rambling and signing out. Peace!